Indie Mogul.
Hey everyone, and welcome to the new Q&Eric. That's right, you're gonna have to look at this face on a weekly basis once again. Basically, I'm gonna take one of your burning filmmaking questions and answer it every Thursday. And I'm gonna answer that question better than any question has ever been answered in all of humankind.
In all of humankind?
All of humankind! Or at least in a fun, concise way. To the first question! This week's question comes in from our old buddy Casey Margolis, who writes in Indie Mogul forums, does anybody know of a cheap way to rig out a Canon T2i with a shoulder support and a matte box for under $300? I do. That's what this show's about. Bam! Everyone and their mother is looking for a shoulder stabilizer or some kind of rig for their DSLR, like this 7D, or in Casey's case a T2i or GH1, because ergonomically these things are not very good to shoot video with, especially if you have a lens that doesn't have an image stabilizer, like this guy. Woohoo! Right there. IS. For example, this awesome $100 50mm prime, no image stabilizer. This pretty damn expensive zoom, great lens, no image stabilizer. These, if you're shooting handheld without any kind of stabilization, it's gonna look way too, like that, way too shaky. But even if you have an incredibly steady hand, unlike Justin Johnson, or a lens with an image stabilizer, a shoulder support rig will also make it a lot more comfortable to shoot. So I'm gonna talk to you about a couple different options and how you can build your own, or you can buy some cheap ones. But first, let's answer that matte box question.
Matte box question?
Now I'm gonna assume when Casey said matte box, he meant lens hood, and that what he wants is something that will either A, make his camera look cooler, or B, block unwanted lens flares. So I'm gonna give you a couple options. Option 1, why? Check out this sweet tutorial for a $25 lens hood from our very own Indie Moguler, Pablo585. It's in the Indie Mogul forums. You can check out the link in the description. I'll give you a hint. It's made out of Tupperware. Number 2, buy a cheap photographic lens hood. These things can be had online on sites like B&H for like 10 bucks. You just have to make sure and get the one that fits your specific lens. But personally, I don't like using a lens hood because, like my good personal friend, JJ Abrams, I like lens flares. Whoa, the starship's crashing!
Eric, cut it out. Act like an adult.
Sorry. Now back to the shoulder rig. So if you want to spend less than $300, you have two basic paths. Build one from scratch, DIY style, or buy a cheap rig online. Both of which I'm going to talk about right now. Now there are a million tutorials and blogs and pictures and forum posts online on how to make a shoulder rig from scratch. But in my research, these three were my favorite. Number 1 was mine. No, but seriously, last year I did a BFX on a shoulder rig, but I have vastly improved the design since then, so check the annotation at the end of this video. I will keep it update as I progress on that. 2, if you're really good at woodworking, check out this amazing handmade rig. It was built by this guy's dad in a barn, and you can check out the link in the description. It's awesome. It's got an integrated follow focus handle. It's really like a piece of art. I couldn't build one.
It smells like cows.
And campfires. And last but not least, if you want to go super bare bones and spend less than 30 bucks on a rig, you can check out this sweet metal design by the master himself, CheesyCam, or alternately, this PVC version by none other than one of our own Indie Mogulers, who I can't remember his name because it's weird, Anthony RPPSHTT. Anthony?
Thanks, Anthony.
Thanks, Anthony.
Tony.
Thanks, Tony. But if you don't want to bother with building things, who does? You can just find a really cheap, pretty good one online. There's a ton of them, and recently I tried out these two. Okay, first up is this guy. It's the Opteka CXS-1. I know, it's like a rocket. And I've already made a few improvements to this. So don't expect to get it just like this. I added this diver's belt weight, link in the description on how to do that, and this Manfrotto quick release plate. This guy costs $100. You know, with the counterbalance, it seems pretty great. It looks sexy. It's about the same positioning as my handmade rig, but after using it for a while, it's just really, it got a little uncomfortable. I think what I'd like to do is maybe add a bar and get this handle out here, maybe add another handle, but for $100, not bad. Now, super cheap, this one is pretty famous online. You may have seen it. It's got a couple different names. I got this on Amazon from these guys called Cowboy Studios for $30. And it's kind of weird looking, but it's super light, adjustable. All this stuff goes in all different ways. I tested both these. I feel like they both do a pretty good job. They stabilize your shot probably about equally. This one, a little more comfortable. This one, lighter, but just feels kind of awkward. But it's pretty good, $30. And the cool thing about this is you can add on to it. This is actually a pretty good base. And I've seen a really cool video about this guy who started with this and ended up building up a whole like rail system with follow focus. Link in the description. Well, that wraps up the first new episode of Q&Eric. Please subscribe to our new YouTube page, the Q&Eric YouTube page, by clicking here. Come on. Click the ball of light or I'll die. Okay, hopefully you click that. Otherwise, you can just subscribe somewhere up here. Tell us what you think by leaving a comment down below. If you want us to answer your filmmaking question in the next episode, leave it in the comments below. And specifically, I want to know which one of these rigs, which one do you like better? Which one do you think you'd want to go for? And I will see you next week.